Welcome to Panels
and Pints, where Dylan brings the panels.
and Joe brings the pints. Oh, there's a big... Holy crap. That's the biggest pint.
I think it's a bit more than a pint.
Yeah, this is a lot. And we're... Oh, my goodness.
Okay, this is Foster's Premium. It's a big green. 1 pint is 9.4 fluid ounces.
So this is almost
a
3
few
pints.
It's a few.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what the percentage is. I don't think it's very much.
Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Nice.
I don't even feel like we need a cup for this. This is the cup.
Yeah,
This is good.
yeah.
In this episode, we're jumping into... Or should we take a sip first? Is that what you were... What's going on here? I'm going to take a sip.
Let's take a sip.
Today we're looking at Green Lantern Secret Origin, and we're going to blast off to a better tomorrow. It's not a line in this, but I thought it was cool.
And I picked a big green can.
Yep, big green can. A hulking can, in a way.
Yeah. Maybe should have saved that one.
Yeah.
But it's a good, solid lager.
Okay.
That's green. And this is a good, solid story. That's green.
Green. Cool. This is issues of Green Lantern 29 through 35. Which, were you confused by that again?
Well, I was annoyed by it.
Okay.
Because this is...
Annoyed is fair.
Yeah, because it's the origin. This
Right.
is the start. I was really excited by the story because it was the start.
Yeah.
Because I know nothing about this guy. Mm-hmm. And then the 29 through 35 or whatever we're doing was just...
A little bit weird.
Yeah. I'm just like, just start at 1 and give us the origin there.
Right. So
what was 1? Are we going to get to 1?
we may get to 1.
Okay.
We may get to 1. So the reason I picked this is because... So I've read a lot of Green Lantern. I hadn't specifically read his origin story. I'm aware of his origin story from other media.
Yeah.
I was just generally aware of it. They sometimes bring it up in like Justice League stories, group stories. They'll just tell you the origin again. The original origin, I believe, was in the 70s. So there's more than one Green Lantern, more than one iteration. This is the standard one. And so a little bit of comic book history that I should set up for you is that there are different eras of comic books. There's the Golden Age, which is like the 1940s to 50s, 60s, I think. Mm-hmm. The Silver Age, which is like 60s to 70s, maybe 80s. I'm not quite sure the exact defining points. Yeah. Bronze Age was kind of to the mid 90s. And then the Modern Age is pretty much everything onward.
So it just gets worse and worse? Because gold...
Yeah.
Normally the best.
Gold is great. Well, what I call because they call it the modern era is like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think the modern era, the Bronze Age and the modern era is where I was mostly reading books, and that's more my style. I think most people prefer the Silver Age because that introduced people like Hal Jordan or the Flash, those newer iterations of the characters.
Gotcha.
That I think most people associate with. I call the current age of superhero comic books the postmodern era, because there's a lot of them trying to deconstruct what was, and it's just not really working very well.
Yeah.
And so that's why I call it the postmodern era.
Nice.
The worst era of comic books, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the Golden Age introduced all the characters back in the 1940s and whatnot. Around the Silver Age, they reintroduced the characters as entirely different identities. Just this is a new Green Lantern. This is a modern era Green Lantern. Is basically what they try to do in the 70s, 60s, and 70s.
Like The Simpsons, the kids never get older.
Right.
Type deal. Just so they can keep doing the story.
Right. Which DC does more of that. Marvel usually lets the characters age. Which is, I'm interested to see what they try to do with characters like Magneto and Captain America.
Yeah.
Because they're tied to World War II so heavily. Which we'll see. Because they're getting to that point where it's going to be like, 100 years since those moments. But this is Volume 4. Green Lantern Volume 4 issues 29 through 20 or 35.
So they grouped them together. So like 1 through 13 is Volume 1.
So
whatever.
The volumes are based off of kind of more like which age it's in. So the Golden Age would be the Volume 1 version. That went for however many issues. Till it got canceled and rebooted.
Okay,
Volume 2 is that.
I had it wrong.
What you said makes sense, but that's not how comic books work.
Cool.
This was created by Geoff Johns, this story. And I'm trying to remember who the artist was.
Reese and Albert?
Ivan Reese. He's a Brazilian artist who's worked on a lot of different things. But Geoff Johns is a huge writer in DC. He's written many major stories, including one that this story will start building up to as we get through a little bit more Green Lantern and other DC stories. So, what do you think the story was?
What do I think it was, or what do I think about it?
Both. I hope you think the story was something, and I hope you think something about it.
Oh yeah, that
as
I had
we
a
get
response to it.
Right? Yeah,
I see.
I guess let's get your summary and then your thoughts.
Okay.
So we're gonna split this up, going into 3 issues for this podcast. Our next podcast will go over the next 3 issues, and then our last podcast will get the conclusion and kind of go over what our overall thoughts are of the entire story.
Yep.
So
okay, so just the first 3 issues.
Right.
The story is this kid, his dad was an Air Force pilot.
Yeah.
Dies in a crash right in front of the kid. Deeply affected him, but he always wanted to fly like his dad. He wanted to be like his dad.
Right.
His mom was now a widow, struggling as a mom of 3 boys. Hal being the middle child. Hal Jordan being the kid. Being the middle child. Very typical, it seems, for the stereotype of a
Middle child.
middle child.
To want to fly, I believe that's the stereotype you're speaking of.
Yeah. And then he turns 18, joins up.
Air Force.
Yes.
Specifically.
Air Force to fly planes, really against his mother's wishes just because of her experience with her husband.
You know, flying.
Yeah.
And failing to fly also.
Yikes. And he's kind of a hotshot, like Maverick from Top Gun.
Yeah.
If anyone knows what that is.
If anyone knows what Top Gun Maverick is, or Maverick from Top Gun is.
So he's shown to be a hotshot, and then he's shown to have good character, defending those who can't defend themselves by that overly pushy guy at the bar.
Yeah, who's hitting on that. Is she just I don't think she's working there. She's just the lady there. Yeah.
And then is reprimanded for crashing planes or being a hotshot and really pushing the boundaries of what the planes can do, costing the Air Force millions of dollars, that sort of thing. And then ends up punching
the boss
Who
guy.
was it? Yeah, who exactly was it?
I'm not really sure exactly who he was. Now that I'm looking back, I don't remember, but he was like, it looks like he was some form of general or somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody of great authority. Enough authority to get him fired.
Yeah. And then he just decks him and is dishonorably discharged
now
from the Air Force.
Let's take a step back for a moment. So he goes to the bar and gets in that brawl.
Yep.
And he meets up with his younger brother,
Jim.
And Jim informs him that his mom has cancer.
Oh yeah. She's in the hospital.
It's a pretty big deal.
Well, I was gonna get to that.
I was gonna say,
literally at the next.
Because let's go back a second. Because why does he deck this guy?
Oh yeah, because it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. So he basically. Oh, go ahead. She
never wanted him to join up, and it felt like it was killing her.
Right.
Like that was the cancer. Mm-hmm. Was him being in the Air Force.
Right.
And then Jim is the younger brother, is understanding but trying to bring the family back together. The older brother, I don't even remember his name.
I think it was Jack.
Yeah. He blames Hal for everything.
Yeah.
Just because he had to take over
all the responsibilities.
Which you see in the next scene after he punches that guy and gets kicked out. But by the time he gets to the hospital, she's already gone.
Right.
And so emotions are
See, that moment was a gut punch for me because of the way they set up that she's like, I will not see you. I refuse to see you until you're out of the Air Force. And then the timing of that was pretty peak.
That's tough.
And that's only like the first, let's see. Yeah, first 19 pages is pretty much the majority of the first issue is just that.
Yep. And then Jim earlier when they were kids, right before Hal ran away from home to join up, Jim tried to give him this box, said to Hal. Mm-hmm. And then finally, after all of this has happened, Jim finally is able to give him that box, and it's a picture of Hal and his dad.
Right.
Because Jim's one of those people who tries to bring the family together.
Right. A peacemaker.
Yeah. Very much so.
And then you get to the last page.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Is this a take a sip kind of page?
I think so. Yeah.
What's happening on this page? I want your impression of this page.
Red-faced man with a green ring.
Yeah.
Is arguing with demon creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Who, at least in that third panel down furthest to the right,
okay,
are like pinned. So it's some sort of prison type deal.
Mm-hmm.
With actual,
like
it looks like pins.
It looks like green,
or like
I kind of saw it as green nails.
Nails, okay.
Yeah, but I can see how you might see pins, because this guy's on a post. He's on a post. He just nailed to that post.
Oh.
There's also just a nail through his wrist, from his forearm to his bicep on that. Do you see that?
Oh yeah.
What a strange way to pin somebody.
Just his arm like this and the nail
Ow!
through it.
Ow!
It's kind of dark.
Yeah, it's tough. But they're having this argument about prophecy and that sort of thing. And red-faced green guy is like
red-faced green guy.
Red-faced green guy. He's
okay.
Like,
I'm sorry. Red-faced green guy is Abin Sur.
Yes,
he's a very important character.
Yes, I
love that his name is.
Moment,
I love that you refer to him as red-faced green guy.
At this moment, he's red-faced green guy because they do say his name. I got it.
Do they say it in here?
Yeah,
in this issue.
The octopus alien guy with the teeth.
Oh yeah,
says it in that second panel.
Yeah. Okay.
But then he's like releasing the big red demon.
Yeah.
But still arguing about prophecy, like.
Yeah, there's this prophecy about like this horror that's never going to stop and is going to take over the whole galaxy type thing.
Yeah.
And Abin Sur seems to believe that this prophecy is something that's going to happen and that these people he's dealing with have something to do with it.
The Blackest Night.
Yes, the Blackest Night. Now, if you're listening to this and you're a comic book fan, the Blackest Night is a big event in DC Comics. Spoiler, not spoiler for you, Joe. That is a big event that gets built up to at one point. So this is them setting the groundwork for them to do that way later on.
Yeah.
So that's what this is.
Okay.
The Blackest Night will come around in some way. Is it going to be anything that's said in this book? I'm not going to tell you if it is. It might be. It might be something very different. But it is being set up in this book.
Nice.
Okay, so next issue?
Yeah, I mean, that's
it.
the last page.
Are you guys saying it was very grounded in reality up until, like, the last panel?
The literal last page is chaos in terms of what was to what is.
They spend 20 pages going over how Jordan lost his dad, his mom died of cancer, he's just trying to be a good man, but he's just, such a hot shot, and he's just such a flawed guy.
Yeah.
And then at the end, a green guy with a red face starts fighting aliens, and there's this weird squid guy who's screaming in pain, and you're just like, "What's going on?" And it just ends.
But I'm in.
And then and there's a prophecy, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Good, solid, but green.
Yeah.
But green.
Take a sip. Mm-hmm. Secret Origin Part 2, Issue 30, has a very interesting cover.
Part 2, Issue 30. Sorry, go on.
Has a very romantical cover.
Yeah.
For the contents to not be so much of this, honestly. A little surprising.
Yeah,
the
covers of these really didn't have
a lot going on.
A lot to do with what I read.
Yeah. I mean, they have the characters on it.
Yes.
I would say when we get to 34 has something to do with what happens in the book. I feel like the rest of them, you're right. I would agree.
They have a Green Lantern dipping a woman.
Yeah, and that woman's in the book. But that doesn't happen. Nothing like that happens, actually.
She's actually in the first issue as a little girl.
Right.
That interacts with Hal at the beginning. She's kind of annoying.
Her name is Carol Ferris. She's a daughter of the guy who runs the airfield that Hal's dad works at. Worked.
Oh.
Unfortunately. So let's jump back in with the story of Red-Faced Green Guy.
Red-Faced Green Guy. It's the first full-page panel.
Yeah.
Something green is talking. Like there's a green bubble,
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
I assumed it was the ship just talking to him, like
All right.
a mother from Alien type deal.
Of course, I would know all about Alien.
So he is talking to his ship.
You assume.
Yes, my
Yes.
assumption.
Okay, continue.
I learned things later on.
Yeah.
But I assume he's talking to the ship. Okay. He's going on about the Blackest Night, and the green is just like, again, you're talking about this again? And
Yeah.
basically, he says, yes, it's literally why I exist, is to
Stop.
bring, to
Yeah.
know
It's
the
my
prophecy
destiny.
and then stop it, I guess,
Right.
from happening. Yes, and he says, Abensur Green Lantern of Space Sector 2814.
Why are you not at your post?
Oh, yeah.
So they're heading to Earth
Yep.
because apparently
like.
that's according to whatever prophecy this is. It starts at Earth. Question mark. It has origin points at Earth because of course it does because a comic book story about space it always comes back to Earth somehow.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So Abensur has a name, and then Red Demon that is trapped. And it's really funny that he's trapped kind of in the cockpit with him.
Yeah.
There's not like a hold in the back.
No.
He's just right behind him.
Yeah, he gets
so
a backseat drive. Like I mean, look at him. Look at him.
Back chatting the whole time.
He's just like you missed that turn, dude. That was a stop sign. What are you doing?
Yeah. And basically what he says, what the Red Demon says is correct.
Yeah.
We find out.
So yeah, explain a little bit of what he's talking about here.
So Abensur is going to the birthplace of the Black. And then
I'm not comfortable here.
going to the
It literally does
birthplace
say the birthplace of the Black.
Oh.
The antithesis of the emotional spectrum.
What do you think is a psychology term?
Yeah.
For sure.
And so he's going to the birthplace of the
The Blackest Night, whatever, yeah.
To stop it. This is where it gets kind of confusing. I'm like, I don't fully understand. Because the demon is going to lead Abensur to
The origin point.
the origin point.
But the demon seems
But I
to
don't-
want to...
Yeah.
I
Use-
will only lead you to your death, Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's probably about
Is that what he
right.
sounds like?
It's
I think it's probably like, I can only lead you to your death.
Yes.
Actually, it's not even on Earth.
Yep. Okay. And then the green argues with him.
The green.
Like, it's like, why did you free him from East Malt, which is the
Yes.
prison place?
The prison
it
planet,
seems.
it seems, yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Then we cut to Mechanic working with Hal.
I forget this mechanic's name. What's his actual name?
Oh,
Tom.
back to real life. Or back
So-
to Earth.
Yeah, we're back to reality.
So Tom is a character who... I won't dive too deep into it, but he's the same character that's played by... what's that director's name who did Thor recently?
Taika Waititi?
Taika
Yeah.
Waititi. He's played by Taika Waititi in the Green Lantern movie, this character.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Most people hated it. I think it was just fine.
Nice.
That's it.
I might dive into that one after this.
Ryan Reynolds, Green Lantern.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
So he's fixing a plane, and then another hotshot pilot comes in and is racist. Lemensky.
Yeah, he calls him a racial slur.
Yeah, that's rough.
And what's funny about it is this is what's actually interesting about this line. I dove a little bit into the original Green Lantern books, like the original Silver Age books, to kind of be like, okay, what's changed in this origin? What was it? Like, what was here? What wasn't here? Which I'll go over when we get to it. But one of the big changes is that's actually what they called this character.
Nice.
That is legitimately what they called this character. If you want to know the slur, get into the book.
That's great. But then Hal gives another slur right back to Lemensky,
Yeah.
which is a bit rough.
Hal and him are good friends in the original books, and that was the nickname for him. So they're just kind of like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on from that.
So we're going to learn from it and
We're not going to do that
You know.
again. Thanks.
discourage it.
Except Hal just responds with a slur. So it doesn't
Hey,
matter.
man,
like,
respond
okay, our
with a
heroes.
bully with the punch. They might stop bullying you, so.
Yeah.
So Lemensky kind of makes fun of him for being an ex-pilot because now that Hal's a mechanic.
Yeah, only work you could get now.
Yep. And then he has little flashbacks with his dad. And then he goes to the head of... Now, which airfield is this?
I forget which
Rook
company.
or Herc? Oh, it's a Arden? Okay.
Arden, I think. I don't know. One of the
there's
airfields.
Arden, Stone, and Ferris.
Yeah.
I know it's not the Ferris one.
Yeah, it's who knows, because the Ferris one is the one his dad died at. The other ones they were all, his dad and the owners of these businesses were all in the Air Force together, and so that's part of why Hal keeps on getting work. It's
they
not
own
really because of
private
his
airfields
character, but because of like them being good friends with his dad and feeling bad for him.
This is Stone. So he's on the Stone airfield, and he's
Right.
trying to become a pilot again. Like, give me a chance,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And Stone's like, you're too much of a risk.
You're a flight risk.
Yeah. But then this lady shows up.
Oh.
Yeah, in her blazer and her low cut.
Oh, nice. You see the lines of everything.
You do, actually, yeah. I'm gonna be honest. When I read comic books, this is probably a flaw with me. I spend so little time looking at the art.
Yeah.
I read the word next. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have ever. I
Like,
probably
you
would
see
have never
positioning
noticed.
of the characters.
I'm like, that person's there, that person's there. There's the line, next page.
Yeah.
Say your line, get out of the page. Like, this is the most I've looked at
You
the
see
art.
her belly button through her
Yeah.
her suit.
I really would have never noticed, too, is what's crazy.
Well, she shows up, and she's basically there as representative of Ferris Airfield to buy it from Stone, to buy him out.
But
And they did this right in front
Hal
of
isn't
Hal.
allowed to work at Paris.
Right.
In his own conviction.
Yeah.
Because his mother said, you're not allowed to go to Ferris Air ever. Which what she really meant was, you're not allowed to fly at all. And he said, great, I'm going to go to everywhere but that.
Yeah.
I'll obey you, but here's a loophole.
Yeah.
So
he storms out angry because he's definitely not going to be a pilot. And then we jump back to Abensor, and Demon Guy is just talking his ear off about, like, how Abensor is going to fail.
yeah,
Like, you're doing this, it's great. I'm excited for it because I'm going to be there
when
it
fail.
happens. Yeah. And then
I've waited a long time for this.
he, like, gets out of his confines and goes to attack Abensor. They get into a big fight, and then there's a big explosion with the ship, and then Demon Guy jumps ship.
Yeah. Freedom!
Yep.
Jumps away. Ship crashes in a desert.
Yep. And it even says where there's another green
California.
bubble that's slightly different shaped.
Yeah.
It's a downtown Coast City, California. Loss of life estimated at 2,210 terrestrials. And so he
know what's
forces the
crazy?
ship to land just outside of that.
Even though I just read this through, and we're reading through again, a lot of the DC cities, because they're all fictional cities, the majority of them,
Yeah.
I never remember where they are in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And this told me California, and I skimmed over. I was like, Coast City, skip. So I didn't know that Coast City's in California. So I learned that today.
Yep. Okay, so Abensor is not in a good place.
No.
He's
Mostly
He's-
physically.
dying.
Emotionally, he might be fine.
And then Green says, Space Sector, scan 2814 for replacement sentient initiated. And then it cuts to Hal, and he is abducted.
Yeah, just straight up.
Straight out of the
Yep.
the
hangar.
The hangar. And he's flying across the desert.
Normal day. Yeah.
And Green is just giving him all the information, but also
not explaining any of it.
Wait,
Yeah.
was it like he immediately was transported, or was it like a slow...
no, it's a journey.
No,
He's
like-
flying through and hearing all of this.
Oh, okay,
So what
okay.
happens here, I'll provide a little clarity, is the ring basically attaches to him or picks him up and takes him, like transports him across the sky. So he's flying, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just
Not of
talking.
his own accord.
Yeah.
No.
But like, it's a little message from Abensur, essentially, saying he's dying. To serve the Green Lantern Corps is a great honor bestowed upon you by the ring.
The ring is fueled by your willpower.
Greatest power in the universe.
A universe where evil is confronted by the Green Lantern Corps.
Order of the Guardians.
But there's a flaw in the battery, an impurity located within your visual spectrum.
And that the green power does not work against yellow.
Yeah, it's ineffective against yellow.
Which is the classic Green Lantern weakness back from, I think it goes all the way back to the Golden Age, but it definitely goes back to the Silver Age at least.
Yeah.
That they're just like, he's weak to yellow. It's just a thing.
So wait, what about urination? Make sure you're super
can't
hydrated.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's weak. Like, it's not like kryptonite. It won't make him weak, like cower and like unable to function. It's that the ring's power has no power over anything that is yellow.
Yeah. And we'll see that later on too.
Yeah.
When he's training with it. But
Which is a little weird, but
So then there's a 2-page
little splash page here.
Yep.
Yeah.
of Abensur saying, "Do you accept this duty?" And is holding out the ring to Hal.
Yeah.
And Hal's like, "I don't know what's happening. You're an alien. This is a crashed ship.
I didn't even know aliens existed
Yeah.
5 seconds ago.
So-
Yeah.
You were talking to me a lot in my head a second ago as I was flying across the desert."
And then I love his first lines in response, though, because it's like all in his head, what you're saying.
Yes.
And he just goes, "If I'm not dreaming, absolutely."
Aw,
So good. Oh,
that's
man.
fun.
And so the ring is transferred. Abensur dies with a word, sinestro.
Yes. Or affectionately pronounced sinestro is how
Sinestro.
most pronounce it.
Sinestro.
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 That's when they're
You're
going
gonna have to roll that last
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Sinestro.
Yeah, that's when they recast him. So we're, a different race than alien, I guess. So
Question. So Abensur guy
He did.
dies, but why is he dying again?
Because a demon done scratched
Beat him
his
up.
heart and then jumped out and then he crashed the ship.
And then the ship crashed.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay.
And
So he also makes mention of an Earthman I never thought lived to see the day.
yeah.
There is this lore with Green Lanterns where they see humans as a lesser species. They aren't
Yeah.
developed. They don't really know about space.
I mean, yeah, Earth being
Yeah.
this dirt ball.
Yeah, they're just like, you guys are dumb.
Yeah.
Whatever. So a Green Lantern from Earth is
The antithesis
Scandalous.
of the emotional spectrum is what Earth is.
Yes.
And its inhabitants. That's how it's described.
yeah, essentially. Yeah.
But then you kind of realize, oh, the ring is what's talking
Right.
at this moment. Hal Jordan of Earth, you have the ability to overcome great fear. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps.
Hey yo.
And I'm sure you've realized just at this moment in book 2 that the ring is what's talking to Abensur this whole time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I got that now.
Yeah.
But it's shaped kind of like a lantern.
Yeah.
Some of the-
It's got a little
But then
symbolism
the other
on it.
one wasn't. It just had little lines coming off of the four parts
Like
of the circle.
so
I don't know.
those lines, those little I don't know what you call them, like those zigzags, I guess I don't know what to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Usually represents like radio or like a recorded message or phone, something like that.
Yeah. And then the ring is, I think it flies onto his finger. Yeah, out of Abensur's hand. It goes, whoop, and then right on his finger. And then he explodes into green light. The suit forms onto his body.
Do you see his belly button?
No, but you see his you
not a belly
probably
button in
could. Not in that panel, but like this one you definitely could see it.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's the next page.
Oh yeah.
The ring comes on him. He gets the suit, and then it shoots him out
Yeah, into the
from
sky.
the crash site into the air. And then you see some censorship in here. Holy bunch of symbols. Holy a bunch of symbols. Holy
Yep.
a bunch of symbols.
And it's the same a bunch of symbols, which
Yes.
tells you it's the same curse.
Yes. Yep. So it shoots him into the air. He's flying now. He's really excited because he's flying.
But without a plane.
Yes, but without a plane. He's very excited. And then he's flying, and he happens upon
Pilot.
Leminski
Yeah.
flying a plane. Leminski's losing control, and so Hal is trying to get a hold of the plane to
Superman style.
Superman style, to bring it down. He ends up saving. I mean, the plane ends up crashing.
Yeah, the plane is going to cost you another couple $1 million.
Right.
Again, nice job, Hal. But you saved the guy.
We can blame it on Leminski.
I don't want to.
And then, so they land, and then the ring says, "Sentience approaching, concealing identity," and then a mask forms onto his face.
Because of course it did.
Yep.
I do find it interesting, and this is something I haven't seen in Green Lantern lore beyond this book, is a lack of emblem.
Yeah.
There's no emblem on his costume for this first issue. I like how you showed. You went. Anyway, yeah. So he has no emblem.
Yeah.
For these.
Interesting.
It's just a white circle,
Yep.
which I didn't notice until it was pointed out.
Yeah, they point out later.
on.
So there's a reason
it's
they
just
have
the
it this
suit.
way, and we'll get to it. But
Yeah.
they don't have that there, and I've never seen that happen in a Green Lantern story before.
Yeah. And then Tom Mechanic says, who the heck are you? And then the Ring answers, seemingly out loud.
Yeah.
People react to it. It says, Green Lantern of Space Sector 2814.
Yeah, because then Carol responds with Green Lantern, what's a Green Lantern? So, yeah, that was interesting because I usually thought it was just like in his head.
Yep. And then she trips on a leaf.
That does look like a leaf. It's
a
shrapnel. It's definitely shrapnel from the
it's
ship.
definitely a piece
or
of
the
the
plane. But it does. This does look like legitimately she's just tripping over a leaf.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it is my favorite
Like, can I
season.
see his mask?
Tis my favorite season.
Oh,
Fall.
No, it's just over his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
then
just
it whites out his eyes, too.
Clark
Yeah.
Kent
It's
style.
a classic like Robin type mask.
Yeah.
And then you get introduced very briefly because
yeah.
he catches Carol.
From tripping over the leaf.
Yes, of course. And then you get very briefly introduced to Hector Hammond, who believes Green Lantern is trying to steal his girl.
Yeah.
End of book 2.
Pause.
Talk about the drink before we get to the third book.
So, Foster's.
I don't mind it.
Nice.
So let me put it this way. I notoriously hate beers.
Right. Good.
That's part of why we do this.
Yes.
Is because I hate beers, and you seem to at least accept comic books.
Yeah.
But after drinking this one, and maybe I'm starting to, develop a taste for beer, it's something I can sip. It's not something I think I would
Yeah,
willfully choose to drink,
Sure.
but I don't mind it.
Do you think it works with the books? The 3 books for this episode?
Gotta take another sip. Yeah, I mean, it vaguely tastes like tripping over a leaf.
Good.
Yeah. Or like a red alien telling you about how much of a doofus you are in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It tastes pretty good. I feel like it's got green energy to it.
Does
There
it
you
have
go.
that yeast taste? Like, what is it?
Yeast taste. It got that yeast taste, boy. Yeah, I mean, it's got like I don't know, it tastes like, other than just me saying beer.
Yeah.
It tastes like beer.
It's a good, solid lager.
Is
Yeah.
it light?
Right.
It tastes light.
It's lighter
me.
than it's lighter than what I normally am drawn to. I like darker beers.
Yeah.
But it's not like an IPA. It's not like American Light. It has
Yeah.
more body to it than that.
So define body. What do you mean when you say it has more body to it?
Like, so you have water and then you have a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a little bit
it's-
more loafy.
yeah.
All right.
Like, loaf of bread was the Guinness we had.
Okay.
That's a loaf of bread.
I'd agree.
American Light is a glass of water.
So I would agree that this is more loafy than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
America Light. American Light.
Yeah. Because this is more like in the middle.
Yeah.
So it has a
It's more
medium-
loafy, but I feel like it
medium
does.
body.
It's way closer to that for me. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yep. It's good.
Nice.
I like it.
Do you want to give us a scenario before we go on?
So you know how we're talking about space and stuff like that. Just clearly, the dilemma that fits so perfectly is, would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader for the rest of your life, starting today?
Talk like Yoda.
See, I'm Vader.
You know, how are we always on the opposite end?
I don't know.
Every dilemma, we do pick the opposite. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I could do that for the rest of my life.
Dang, that's whack, dude.
Wow. But sound crazy, I will.
No, it's not just, I would say, let's clarify. Yes, it's not just
Sound crazy, I
the
will.
grammar, but
I don't think so.
Honestly, I think I'd love to do that.
Okay, if you
Frank
would like.
Oz.
Imagine being at a work meeting for
Yeah.
like anything, and they're going with some business proposal, and you're like,
A good idea, I think that is.
But true, like everyday life, you're trying to order something in the drive-thru, it'd be a little more confusing, but then also wouldn't be able to hear you very
Big Mac I'll have.
Because would I have my normal? I wouldn't have James Earl Jones's voice.
Well,
I just
no.
have
But
breathing.
see, and that's the thing. If you added James Earl Jones' voice, I might go with the breathing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a benefit.
No, you
makes
have your own
sense.
voice. Those are the
Yeah,
rules.
then that's. Oh, do I have my own voice for Yoda as well?
Yeah. I mean, you can go if you want.
Yeah, but it's not as good if I don't sound like Yoda. There's just a guy going.
Okay.
It's not very great.
Not very great.
Order McDonald's and
In Yoda,
Yoda,
Or Wendy's.
or
rather.
just like your normal voice, but
Yeah.
the grammar.
I don't know if I can. My brain's starting to hurt.
You're getting a Big
Yeah.
Mac and fries, medium Dr Pepper.
Are you going to be the? You should be the
Oh yeah.
The cashier
yeah.
or whatever.
Order when you're ready.
second. I'll need.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Second, I'll need.
No, I'd be like, will you be using the mobile app today?
Mobile app, I will not. Not use. I will not.
Are you gonna order?
Fries and Big Mac, I'll have.
Size. Sorry. Carry on.
Large.
Are you just start using one-word sentences?
Yes, you just avoid the whole thing
Yeah.
and just say
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
word.
poetry of a Neanderthal. Large.
Yes.
Large, nice.
Thanks.
Would you like to make that a meal? No.
Not. I will.
Not. I will.
Oh, gosh.
Just about. But the reason I
Imagine.
want the Yoda one is because it might drive people crazy.
Yeah.
And I like trolling people, so I would enjoy watching people like try to dissect what I'm saying.
What if you are trying to learn another language?
Sheesh.
That'd be crazy.
Hablo inglés? No. What does Yoda sound like in other translations?
Oh, yeah. Another.
I never thought about that.
We'll look that up after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Okay, let's get into this next book. I want to point out this guy on the cover. Look at this. What is this thing? See that?
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like a little. I forget what the Pokemon that looks like.
I was
Looks like a
looking
Pokemon.
more between his legs.
I mean, I would have too, but for that guy,
At the round guy
round face man.
with the big nose.
He found a nice place to place himself where his face would still be seen.
Yep.
Yep.
But then, I mean, 3 little Yodas up here.
Yeah, little blue Yodas.
Boom. See? Relevant.
I refer to those guys
But
as
it's not.
I refer to them
But-
as the Smurfs of the universe.
Smurfs of the
That's
Universe.
what I call them.
Well, Smurfs of the Universe have nothing to do with this book
No,
in any way, shape, or form.
not at all. And there's a big pig guy in the background as well.
Just
Yeah.
different races
like
of
him.
aliens.
Big old hog.
Yep. I have thoughts about him when we get there.
Yeah, let's get through it. Okay.
So we come back in right where we
Hector
left
Hammond
off.
was Hector Hammered.
Hammond.
Hammond was very bad.
John Hammond, who started Jurassic Park.
Yes.
He
His brother Hector, who started getting mad at Green Lantern on an airfield.
yes, because Green Lantern and Carol are having a moment. Just glancing into each other's
I mean,
souls.
there's literally this shot here where they're longingly looking into each other's eyes.
His white, soulless,
His
mask
white,
eyes.
soulless eyes.
Yikes.
With the sun shining on them.
Yeah, and Hammond's like, oh, thanks and all that.
How about you get your hands on my woman?
yeah. And then Tom's freaking out. He's like, that was awesome. It's like the little kid on the little trike in the
Yeah,
Incredibles.
Incredibles.
That was so totally wicked.
Yeah.
Wait, so this book picks up right at the end of the last one.
Yes,
Right,
like right on.
Bleeds right into it.
Okay, so Hammond's like really interested in this guy, but also hates him because of the initial
Yeah.
thing.
Because
But
tall,
he's
dark,
I
and
want to
handsome.
study you as a person.
Can I dissect your body, please?
He's pretty much.
I mean, yeah, that is the energy.
Again, there's this element that we saw in Superman of a flying away before responding.
Yeah,
He
which
flies away and says, "No thanks."
well, and if it was like the Snyder version of Superman, where when he launches like a sound barrier,
Yeah.
boom. Imagine trying to hear what they say after they do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think Superman can project his voice. Like I think he has the
Yeah,
ability
yeah.
to, or something. Like superpower there.
It would make sense for Superman, but not.
But Green Lantern just flies away and says no thanks.
There's
that
not even
no
an
one heard.
exclamation point like he was yelling it.
Yeah, he was maybe just saying it to himself.
No thanks.
Like
As he's, hundreds of feet in the air.
he was still considering it as he's flying away.
yeah, it's like,
and then
check.
and then he reasoned with himself and went, you know what?
Yeah.
No thanks.
yeah. And so Hammond and Carol have a spat.
Because they're not dating.
Yeah.
They went to dinner once, apparently, and she doesn't see that as dating. But also, she doesn't date employees.
Well, I mean, it's
but why'd
very
you go to
typical
dinner?
of a man
Yes,
to have dinner with a woman and think it's more than what the woman thinks it is.
right. But I love this confusion here. Of she goes, one dinner does not make me your girl, which I think is fair.
Oh, yeah.
And then she goes, but you're an employee, and I don't date employees. Then why did you go to one dinner with an employee?
Yeah,
I agree, you're not his girl. But hold on a
its
second.
own, comic book series.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
The Hector Hammond, Carol Dan, or Carol Ferris.
Okay, so Green Lantern flies back to the crash site where Abensur is, probably to get more answers.
Which is crazy that he remembers where it is, considering all the throwing around he had.
He was transported there against his will, and then literally the phrase was boom out
Right.
from the crash site.
Right,
And then
like,
he interacts with Leminski's
He
plan.
remembers all this.
Yeah.
The ring could have let him.
I guess, but it doesn't say it. What I'm pointing out is, even with a GPS, I still can't make it to my own friend's house. So,
Yeah, well, that's the modern era for you.
yep.
You're not printing MapQuest anymore.
Imagine Green Lantern with multiple map quests printed.
Yeah.
Where am I going? Did I take the
He's
right
got a
street?
folder in
No.
the car. This friend's house. This
No,
friend's
not in the
No, the
car, in the
ring.
ring. It's holding it up for him.
No, the ring, it prints out like a little strip of paper that has the directions.
And then,
on it.
and then he has to make a magnifying glass to read.
What do you mean by make a magnifying glass? I don't understand.
What?
How can he make a magnifying glass? We've
Uses
never
the
seen
ring.
him make anything except hands. His hands got like green and bigger.
Okay. We'll get to making things.
I'm being intentionally
Complicated.
belligerent.
I know. That's
Okay.
your middle name.
So he goes back to Abensur, and Abensur is kind of
Dead.
disintegrating into green
Energy?
wisps.
Yeah. A little weird.
And then Hal buries him. Then this was weird to me. So he flies back to the crash site, sees Abensur, and then it's just a panel of him putting rocks over top. I thought he had covered
ship?
the whole crash site. And so in the next panel, he's in in the ship.
That's fair.
like
It does look like a giant pile of rocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
It's just
the body,
Abensur.
right?
Yeah. And so he goes to the crash site again, and there's this big green lantern.
This is referred to as the power battery.
Is that what this is, Ring? This is your power battery. He has to charge the ring.
Yep. Like an iPhone.
The Apple Watch.
Yeah. Otherwise, it don't work so good.
Right.
I also love the bit where it tells him all this information about it, and then it's like holding his hand to it, and he goes, "Let go, damn it!" And it goes, "Incorrect oath."
Yeah. Correct. Oath. Power levels 100%. Green Lantern of Space Sector 2814. You will now report to OA for training immediately. Have a nice flight. And shoots it from the crash site again into space.
There's a lot of just getting shot into space and the air and stuff.
I was very entertained by all of that.
Yeah, he's just trying to understand the universe, and he just
Yes.
keeps getting shot into space.
And then, so he's in hyperspace because the ring then says, descending from hyperspace.
Yeah,
Universal Translator on. So we will be able to understand
everything.
all of the aliens because the next panel is chaos.
Just
Oh, wow.
a bunch of green dudes, and they have the emblem on their chest.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all in the suits. You see Hal over here without a symbol. You see the big Epcot Pokemon ball.
Yeah,
You see like a Sabretooth type deal.
yeah.
Up here in the corner, you see Big Head,
You see fish face.
Fish Face.
I unfortunately, as much as I like DC and know a good bit of Green Lantern lore, I only know the names of like a few Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Many of these are recurring Green Lantern characters. I could not tell you their names because I remember them as Fish Face and Sabretooth Face.
Nice. And then you get a little more with the purple guy. And then
Yeah, Purple Samson over here
Beak, Finn, Mohawk.
recognizes
will-
him.
Yeah, we'll get to know him. This is where the ring is explaining where he is, planet Oa. Pronunciation.
That's pretty right.
Okay. Pretty right.
I think most people say Oa, but you're saying it essentially
Oa.
the same.
Oa.
Oa.
Oa. Oa.
People say it in the American way. Oa.
Oa. Oa. And then home to the Guardians of the Universe, Immortal Watchers, and Protectors of All. So these are a bunch of aliens that are Green Lanterns that protect their sector, seemingly, because Hal
There's
is
numbers.
Sector 2814,
Yep.
which Abin Sur was.
Right.
So did Abin Sur protect Earth
Yes.
in his heyday?
So basically, how the sectors work, I don't know exactly how big a Green Lantern sector is. Like whether it's like a solar system, a couple galaxies. Like I don't know the scale
Yeah.
of what it is, but it's basically a grouping of planets that portion of the galaxy of the universe is theirs to protect.
So 2814 could be just the Milky Way.
Right. Or it could be a couple galaxies. It could be just part of the Milky Way. I'm not actually sure. I would assume it's at least one galaxy.
So in this universe, this
Yeah.
is kind of an aside question. In this universe, is like Mars inhabited?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know that many other planets are, but I know Mars specifically,
Oh.
and DC is.
Good guess.
Yeah. Mars specifically is inhabited. Or should I say, was inhabited. We'll get to that.
Intrigue.
Intrigue.
But yeah, so each of these people have a sector. So Abin Sur and his race of alien, whatever he is,
I say Abin.
he
Is that all right?
I don't think it matters. I think every
All my
adaptation is going to
A's
say
are
it.
Oz.
Every adaptation is going to probably say something slightly different.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's all written. So it's just whatever you
Yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was
yeah.
is probably what they're going to decide it is. Anyway, basically each of them have their sector. So Abin Sur's his race of alien or whatever planet he comes from is within the sector that Earth is also in.
Okay.
So whatever that planet was, I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's in the same
Okay.
place.
And so he, Beak Face Mohawk Finn, he recognizes something about Hal and says, Abin?
Yeah. Which is interesting. I don't know that they actually dive into why he's able to recognize that this green light guy
Either.
is
Yeah.
different from every other green light guy.
Because do the lanterns look the same?
Yeah, I mean, to me, they all look the same.
Yeah. Okay.
They all have like same uniform, but it's like I don't know.
But I
it's-
mean, like the lantern, he's like the power source.
Oh, I
Does
thought
that-
so.
Maybe that looks slightly different, or
Maybe.
has 2814 written on the side that we can't see.
there's actually a big projector over his head that says 2814.
Because in terms of looks between Abin Sur and Hal Jordan,
There's a
Hal
lot
Jordan's
different.
not red or bald.
They're very
or
different
alien
looking, but he
in
does
any
wear
way.
a green outfit. But so does everyone else on this planet.
Yeah. So okay. So the ring disengages autopilot,
There's a squirrel.
and then tutorial off, and then shoots down, and then he's part of like a class because the rest of
Yeah.
the people there don't have the lantern
Green-
symbol
right.
in the white. And then we meet Kilowog.
Yeah.
Dude, Kilowog's sick.
I'm glad you like most people. The Green Lantern. This is one of the few Green Lantern characters I remember the name of. Mm-hmm. Is because he is a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Kilowog.
He's great.
And he reappears multiple times.
Nice.
So you're gonna get a good amount of Kilowog.
Yep. So he's the hardcore boot camp drill instructor guy.
Yeah, calls everyone Poozer.
Yeah.
Nice landing, Poozer. This is what I imagine his
I like
voice
how
being.
you imagine him Australian. He was a little bit more closer to your demon voice, honestly.
worst day of your worthless life. Yeah. Okay. So he joins this boot camp, and he realizes that he can, like, they teach him you can make things from the
Nothing.
ring's power.
Yeah.
Out of nothing. So he makes the boxing glove.
Which is a classic.
Yeah. And then he hits the drill instructor, squirrel guy. Is like, you really shouldn't have done that.
The
Why not? And then Kilowog comes back. But you don't actually see the outcome of that because we shoot back to
U.S. military finds crash site.
military finds the crash site.
Hector Hammond is with them,
Yes,
and he's
they-
deciding to investigate this crash site.
Isn't this where they say something was launched out of it before it landed? Like
I think so. I think they say it
They
here.
got the radar thing and
Yeah.
spotted something flying off of it.
Yeah, because the military finds they're in the forest somewhere else,
Yes, something
And-
landed here.
and they find from the just shooting out of the water is
Oh yeah,
Demon
death.
Man, Atrocitus.
Yikes.
And then what does he say? Death will claim you and all the Green Lantern Corps roll over. It's just spitting nonsense to these military guys.
Yeah,
'cause
there's
they're
like
just screaming because
What is going on?
a demon just came out of the
Right.
thing, out of the water.
So then we cut back to training day.
Yep, and he's realizing how much power he has, but then Kilowog launches a yellow disc at him, and so Hal
Tries to catch it.
catch it or stop it, and it goes right through and smashes him in the face.
Yeah.
And then yellow, ineffectual against yellow. And he's like, "Why?" And like, "Don't ask questions."
Yeah. There's a lot of in these books, and going even forward after this one is a lot of don't ask questions.
And then we find out how Beak Face Mohawk Finn
Yeah.
recognizes Hal
Right, because of his ring,
because of his ring.
which is the craziest thing to see from that
up
far
into
away
his
earlier.
Yeah, he was really far away.
Yeah, he was using his Green Lantern binoculars to find him.
Okay. And so then I'm going to call him Tom.
Sure. The
Tom
big
R.
face.
No, this guy.
Uh,
My name is Tom R. Ray of
I think it's Tomare.
Zuda. Tom R. Ray.
Yeah.
Okay. Of the sector next door,
Yeah.
2815.
Like you've heard of like the guy next door. This is the guy next sector.
Yeah, next sector. By all accounts, I'm your neighbor.
You know, that's a pretty. You actually match the voices. I think are usually
Really?
used like
Nice.
pretty close to what they're used when they do animation stuff.
Yeah, I mean, seems like a kind of like a C3PO type dude.
Yeah.
And so he takes him to this place where it shows a giant book
Yeah. That's just lore.
that just shows all of the stories of all the Green Lanterns.
Right.
And how now Hal is part of that.
Right. He's part of the
Which
new
is-
Green Lantern
I thought that
canon.
was pretty cool. The
So-
Book of Oa.
So then we get a bunch more training after that. Mm-hmm. A lot of mismatched training. And then when you get to what page am I on?
Oh, yeah. 19.
I think 19. Yep, 19. You get the oath.
And brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
And he gets a symbol. Because he took the oath, and now he's officially Symbol Man.
Yes.
Now, for the tease for the next one, last 2 pages,
Oh, yeah.
we get introduced to another Green Lantern.
Yep.
Character we haven't seen yet.
Nope.
He is getting orders from somewhere. He refers to them as a guardian who's giving him orders.
Which is the zigzag bubbles.
Yeah, so it's like a communications thing. Where they're asking him to venture to Earth to find out about who replaced Abin Sur and investigate this thing with Red Demon Man, known as Atrocitus.
Yep.
Apparently, there is a territorial edict that says that that a Green Lantern essentially, it's alluded to here, but that Green Lantern cannot basically go to another Green Lantern sector and do that Green Lantern's work.
Yeah.
That you have to stay in your sector, essentially.
Because even the
Stay on your turf.
communication says this mission will stay between us.
Yeah.
And you can call me Ganthet.
It then ends. Well, I mean, I guess this
And then-
guy goes, I'm on my way to Earth. Do they outright say who he is at any point in this?
I don't think so.
So if you're a comic book person, you'll know who this is. And if you get to the next books, you'll find out who it is.
Yeah, and I mean, you can
It's
kind of
a little
guess,
obvious.
especially with the last words of Abin Sur.
Right.
You have an idea.
Where
Don't
it's
want to
going.
jump to conclusions, but
It's probably the conclusions you're going to jump to.
okay. My impressions.
Yeah, tell
of
me
these
your
first-
thoughts.
First 3 books, I freaking loved them.
Yeah?
This is my favorite thing we've read so far.
Okay.
Just because I had an idea of who Superman was.
Right.
I kind of know who Batman is. This one I had no idea.
Anything.
I knew nothing.
Like, legitimately nothing about Green Lantern.
I knew there was a movie,
Okay.
but I really didn't know like the powers.
Yeah.
I knew there was a ring involved,
Yep.
but I didn't know what the ring did. I definitely didn't know there were billions, seemingly, Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
And that Hal
it's a
Jordan
core.
is just-
It's a like a police force of the galaxy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. In terms of superhero-ness, normally it's just the one
Right.
guy, and then he's got to make decisions on his own type deal. But then in this, it's the police force with some
It's got
sort of
rules.
guardian,
Right.
like hierarchy type presbytery.
Well, and I thought, as I was reading this one through, because I was trying to decide what to go to next after Batman, Superman, because there's a million different ways you go. You go to Marvel, you could probably go to Wonder Woman, which rounds out the main trinity of DC characters.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go with Green Lantern because, first of all, I really like Green Lantern as a character, and I wanted to personally get into reading some more of it myself. And two, because I know you're a fan of space stories, and it's very similar and reminiscent to Star Wars to me, in that there is this order of people who have this like hierarchy, and the heads of it's like it might be corrupt. It might not be. I know you're a fan of characters like Qui-Gon and like Dooku and Obi-Wan, which these characters are very reminiscent of, especially Abin Sur and Qui-Gon. They're very similar characters, and so I thought you would appreciate that kind of element to it.
Definitely get that feel for sure.
Right.
I like it a lot.
Great.
Yeah. I liked how it wasn't what's so funny about in terms of the craziness. It did get crazy, but
I got space crazy.
it made more sense to me.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Than just jumping into a
yeah. I
giant dead
I was
Godzilla or whatever.
very scared on the last page of the first
You went,
issue
"What's going
of 29,
on?"
yeah. So it's like, oh, what a cool origin story. Something's going to happen. He's going to be experimented on or something.
Yeah, who knows?
And he'll get powers.
And then demons.
Then the last page and this Green Lantern that already exists.
Yeah.
I thought this Hal guy was going to be the Green Lantern, and then
Right.
this other Green Lantern showed up and it was arguing with demons about a prophecy.
And you're like,
I was like, oh no, we're going.
this has
off the
nothing to do with
deep
planes,
end.
so
This is now what's so funny about. And then the second book is great, and the third book even better. Yeah,
great.
yeah, I'm in for it.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, this is.
I think this is also a great jumping on point to bring up, to set up a larger universe than just Earth with DC, because it's easy to compare DC to Marvel, to try to draw comparisons there. Marvel is highly focused on Earth and New York, and it does have some space stuff. It's got Thor.
Yeah.
It's got the Guardians of the Galaxy, stuff like that, and there's plenty of other things that they have that aren't as popular. But DC is such a spread out kind of universe. It does have a hyper focus on Earth, but it's a lot of different cities. It's not just New York, like Coast City in California, apparently.
Yeah.
And Gotham Metropolis. There's plenty of others, and the amount of space stuff going on. Like a story I'd be interested in. I'm not sure if they've ever touched on this, but now I'm going to look into it. Is who were the people, or which lanterns were supposed to protect Krypton? Because that was a sector someone was supposed to protect,
that
and
makes sense.
they failed that for sure.
Yeah.
So what's the story there? I don't know. Never looked into it, but I'm curious now.
It's probably Big Head or
Probably.
Epcot.
I feel like it's probably Big Head.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? I don't like those Kryptonians. They're all prideful and full of themselves. I don't like them.
They always laugh at me when I show up.
Yeah, that was like always, what is this? What is this abomination?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do real or fake?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do real or fake.
We have time for it.
Oh, we're gonna zoom through some real or fake. So I didn't have time to cut down the abundance of information I made up or found.
So it's gonna get me a chance.
Yeah, you might be able to ask more questions this time because I don't have a limited data. I pressed a big copy and paste from either me writing it all out or
I'm gonna
Googling it.
ask questions, block
So-
you in a corner.
All these characters are Green Lantern characters. Green Lantern antagonists.
Don't like these.
The first one is Major Disaster, also known as Paul Booker.
Strong start.
He's a DC Comics supervillain. Sometimes
A
anti-hero.
villain that's a Green Lantern?
No, he is a villain to Green.
Oh,
These are
just
villains
in
to the
the-
Green Lanterns.
okay.
They're not Green Lantern villains. They're not Green Lanterns who are
Lanterns.
villains. They're Green
I see.
Lantern
Antagonists. Yeah, you said
Yes,
that.
I got you.
Two
Gotcha,
Green
gotcha,
Lanterns.
gotcha.
Yes.
I misunderstood. Go on.
Sometimes he's an
Booker.
anti-hero. Basically, he found the secret identities of the Green Lantern and the Flash and uses high-tech devices developed by hired scientists to gain the ability to manipulate probability and cause natural disasters, such as earthquakes or storms. He can shield himself from the effects. He started to have health issues because he kind of internalized these powers, but he ended up making a deal with a demon named Neuron for enhanced abilities at the cost of his soul. His first appearance was Green Lantern Volume 2, Issue 43, in March of 66. Created by Gardner Fox and Gil Kane. Do you want a couple quotes from him real fast before you make a guess?
Yeah.
Okay. This one comes from his first appearance. It's, "Chaos is my canvas, Green Lantern, and I paint with disaster."
Ooh.
I'm liking this guy.
This one's from Justice League of America in 1994, issue 88. "I don't need luck when I control the odds." Is this guy real or fake?
Honestly, he was completely real until that last quote where he sounds like Dylan.
I say that all the time. I'll just be sitting around being like, I don't need luck. I control the odds.
Control the odds. You're very Han Solo. Never tell me the odds.
The house always wins. That's what they call me, House MD.
But I think I'm going to ignore that last quote and say that he's real.
You think so?
Yeah.
What if I told you he's real?
Yes! Okay, I'm
You
really
got it.
excited to read about him.
Yeah.
I want that.
I don't know if we will get to him, but we should get to him because that's a hilarious name.
So are you saying Dylan sounds like this villain?
In that last quote, yeah.
He's saying
I'm kind of concerned. No.
He's saying I'm a major disaster. Is what I'm hearing.
Mr. Chaos?
Yeah.
That may be a character. It may not be.
That's 3 for 4.
Yeah.
So what are we reading next?
So next, we're getting into the next 3 issues of this series, which would be 33 through 35?
No. 31 through 34.
So is it 32?
All right, let's start again.
29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and then 35. 32 through 34. That's
Yeah.
what I just said.
So, no, it's not. So in our next episode, we're going to get through issues 32 through 34. So part 2 of our space epic. And you should join us and blast off to a better tomorrow. I'm taking that quote. I love that quote.
Dude.
It's my quote now.
I think a wise young man said that once.
Yeah, it was me just now.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
No, someone much wiser originally said this quote.
Okay, what has this been?
Panels.
And Pints, where Dylan brings the panels.
And Joe brings the pints. If you want to get into this book before the next episode, go on the DC Universe app and look it up. It's my recommendation. You might be able to find these still in the shop. Good luck, though. I wouldn't even try. And I'm sure you can get the graphic novelization somewhere.
Nice.
So you want to catch up to where we are and meet us in the next episode to go over the next episode? Do that. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.